Welcome everyone to Pontos Fathom Hobbies. This is season 2 of Viking Gods. We played a version of this a little while back. We're back for season 2. Last time we played it, we talked about a mod that I had created for this. So for those of you guys who don't know, this is our second season of Viking Gods. It's a mini game from TSR Games. Came out in 1982, and I actually had created some custom. So we've got like a character sheet that kind of comes with the game. Both the forces of Asgard and the forces of Chaos in the Battle of Ragnarok. But I went ahead, being a fan of Thor comics, and created some mods. So I included dwarves, Skirnir, stone giants, and storm giants. There's a couple of mod tokens here that I made. But I also found, without rules, and again a throwback to the Thor comics of, like, this is like Thor 300 back in the 70s. There was a battle between the Celestials. You can see these names of the Celestials. I'll kind of go through them. So I made these Celestials tokens. I never made the rules for it. So we're just going to kind of do a mod here of Asgard versus the Celestials. So for those of you who don't know, so Thor in Viking mythology, as you know from the Marvel MCU probably, Thor is a Marvel character as well, and there was a kind of a Jack Kirby the artist era of Thor. They had introduced these Celestials who had come to Earth to judge the Earth, right? So what we had was, and you can see I made the names of each of these Celestials here. So you had Arsham the Judge. So he was a Celestial that was tasked with judging whether or not a civilization should continue to exist. So there's Arsham the Judge, there's Oneg the Prober. He's the Celestial tasked with experimentation and implementation. There's Ziron the Tester. He's a Celestial tasked with testing the stability of the genetic life on the planet. Then there's Tefral the Surveyor. He's a Celestial tasked with surveying and mapping the geography of the planets. Then there's Esan the Searcher. He's the guy who searched out new planets to put seed life on. There's Gamenon the Gatherer. He collected samples of all the life on the planet during the celestial host. Then there was Hargan the Measurer. So he would kind of qualify and measure the planets for the survey. Jemmaya the Analyzer. So he would analyze the life form. And Nezar the Calculator. So he was like the mathematician, statistician, and he could also project illusions. Then on the other side here, we've got these two tokens, the Destroyer and the Unimind. So these are actually, the Destroyer was sort of a creation that sided with the Asgardians, and it was given the Odin sword. And the Unimind, they sort of they all fought against basically the destruction of Midgard. So the Celestials had come to Earth, they were going to destroy it, and Thor and the Asgardians were going to defend it. So basically these Celestials are super buff. You've got the Arsham has a 9, and all the rest of them have 8s. So we're going to start them out on the Bifrost Bridge, sort of like where we would have put Loki. That's how we'll set this up. So the concept here is the Celestials are going to, let's say that the Asgardians interfered with the Celestials' judgment of Earth. So the Celestials are going to Asgard to sort of take them out. We'll leave Heimdall. We'll place Heimdall on his space. So Heimdall will still be here on the guard. But now, as the Asgardians and all the forces of evil are also on the same side, we will place the fire giants up in the frozen north. We will place, I'm sorry, the frost giants, not the fire giants. The frost giants up in the frozen north. We'll place Hela on her space as usual. I'm just riffing these rules, guys, so I'm just making these up as we go. So Hela would go on her space. Then we will place the Tree of Life again here. We can place our forces of Odin and such here. So all the Asgardians will be on this side of the river. And we'll place our host of Asgard all along this area. We have Frey and his shield bearer. And we also have Thor and Odin. We have Sif, Odin's wolves. And Uller the archer. We'll place the Valkyries and the human hosts also on this side. So these are the human warriors that have gone to Asgard. They've gone to Valhalla. Like, these are Vikings who had died in combat, so to speak. So they'll be here. Now, it seems totally overrated, but none of these characters have higher than a 5. So these guys are definitely super poised to help fight. We'll also place, I'm just going to do this randomly here. We'll have this, the Destroyer and the Unimine joining Heimdall at the Rainbow Bridge in preparation for these guys to come. We'll put the dwarves up on this mountain space as per the dwarf setup instruction. And we'll place the giants on the lower range mountains here. And Loki and the forces of chaos, they'll be in this forest of chaos. Well, let's just call it the forest of chaos for now. As well as Surtur, the fire giant, giant and his fire giants will also be here. So basically, it's all of these guys against these 9 Celestials. So let's play this out. I've never actually played it before. I made the pieces a long time ago, and I never actually got to play it out. So let's give it a whirl, okay? So for you guys who have not played this, I've seen the setup before, you can go back to our season 1. I do a full run through of the rules, but I'll basically give the idea quickly here. So the idea of the game is, you'll see after we do round 1 to get a hang of it, but by all means, go back and watch the setup of round 1, and I go through a rules section if you want to go back and search for it. I can leave the link below. So the idea is there's a combat chart. So whenever pieces are in combat, you add up the total strength of the attackers versus defender, and the difference of that gives you -5 to +5. And then you roll the column, a die 6, and you either have defender is defeated, defender retreats, attacker is defeated, or attacker retreats. There's also a mechanism here for the Rainbow Bridge that connects Midgard to Asgard to be destroyed each turn. And what we'll do for this game is, just for the sake of this mod, we'll say that instead of it being Asgard player and Chaos player, it'll be the Celestials will go first, and then the forces of all of Asgard, including the forces of Chaos. So Asgard now includes both the good and the evil gods of Asgard. They are uniting against this celestial planet populators and planet killers. So the ideas of the Celestials from the Marvel world were, these were the guys that find planets to populate with life. They let life run for a while, they monitor it, and then they judge the life. And if they're not worthy, they're going to destroy them. So the Celestials were basically, the concept of this is the Celestials are threatening Midgard, which the Asgardians and the forces of chaos consider their domain. So they're basically fighting over the world, and we'll see who wins, the Asgardians or the Celestials. So guys, if you like this concept, maybe I'll write up a rule for it and put it out somewhere. I don't think there's a lot of Viking Gods players out there, so let's just go and have fun with it. I'll see you in turn 1. You can click the link here. As usual, guys, you can check out our bookstore below to support the channel. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Pontos Fathom Press. You can check out the 3 volumes of Disclosure from the Necronom Fragment. You've got Necromancy of Nyarlathotep, Hermeticism of Hastur, The Alchemy of Azathoth, just released. Our channel's not monetized, so that can help support the channel. You can also visit us on Patreon, and as usual, liking, subscribing, sharing, and ringing the bell to get notified on our other gameplay like Joan of Arc, Song of Ice and Fire, and Eldritch Horror. You can join into those games as well. So guys, we'll see you in turn 1. Click forward, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.